A lot of people travel to Branson, Missouri. I'm so excited to show you guys my local guide to Branson, Missouri and my perspective. Let's go! What's going on, guys? I'm Jesse Weiser and I'm a real estate broker in Springfield, Missouri, and I'm so excited to tell you guys about Branson, Missouri and my perspective of all things local. Also, I wanted to tell you guys, shameless plug, check out wiserlivingrealty.com where you can find all the houses locally. And don't forget, reach out to us. We really want to hear from you. Even if you guys are like 6 months out or even a year, reach out. We want to give you guys the local perspective of everything. Springfield, if you're moving to the area, just Missouri in general. Reach out. We would love to hear from you. Our stuff is down in the description below. And if you can't find us in the description, go to wiserlivingrealty.com. You can find everything there. So the reason why we're making this video is because whenever I travel, I want to know like a local's point of view. And that's why we're making this video, so I can give the point of view and you know where to stay, whether it's safe or not and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go over places to stay, restaurants to go to, shows, things to do. And at the end, I'm gonna talk to you about things to avoid in Branson, Missouri, and I'm so excited to talk to you about that because there's some things to avoid in Branson. So first up is places to stay. If you're coming to Branson, you obviously need a place to stay. So first on my list, there's 4 places to stay. The first one is Big Cedar. Now that is a resort and there's a lot to do on the resort, thousands of acres to do, and it's right on the lake. Now this is a little bit more on like the upper scale of Branson, where it's like, I don't know, a little bit of bougie. There's expensive restaurants on the resort, and it's owned by Johnny Morris, which owns Bass Pro. So whenever you think of staying in the Ozarks or staying in Branson, Johnny Morris's name stamped on a place, that's the place to stay. So Big Cedar Lodge is the place to stay if you're going to Branson, if you have the money to do it. Now, if you don't want to stay at Big Cedar Lodge and you want the Johnny Morris feel like the Big Cedar, stay at Angler's Lodge, which is just a little bit further south from Branson in Hollister, Missouri. Hollister and Branson kind of coincide together, and even if you're in Hollister, you still feel like you're in Branson. It's kind of like the whole area. But Angler's Lodge actually took over from an old hotel. They remodeled the snot out of it, but they actually put like outdoorsy stuff in there, and you'll kind of see the pictures. You'll see that it's the Ozarkian feel. Next up is the Hilton, which is on the Branson Landing. It has level 2 restaurant, which I'll talk about down below, but it is kind of a staple when it comes to staying on the Branson Landing. And then the 4th place to stay in Branson is just an Airbnb. If you can find a really cool Airbnb or an Airbnb close to the Strip or the Branson Landing or even Silver City, that's the place to stay. There's really no bad place to stay in Branson as well. The local government has pushed out homeless, has pushed out just any kind of riffraff there is in Branson. There's a lot of restrictions when it comes to Airbnbs. So staying in Airbnb, you're gonna stay in a safe place. Now we're going into restaurants. This is my favorite section of the whole thing because you know I don't skip a meal. I love food. Now, if I'm thinking of my top 3, I put a plethora of stuff on this list, but my top 3 would be Sugar Leaf Bakery, which is right off the Strip. It would be Top of the Rock, Osage Restaurant, which that is a little bit more of like an upper scale. It overlooks the Table Rock Lake. You can tour a chapel that Johnny Morris built for his daughter to get married, and now other people can get married in it. There's a par 3 golf course at Top of the Rock. The Osage Restaurant at Top of the Rock is where my wife and I go for any type of anniversary, just anything that we want to celebrate. That is our spot at the Osage. My favorite part about Osage Restaurant though is right at sunset, they have a ritual that they do, and they play like the bagpipes, then shoot a cannon, and it's the coolest thing ever. And the last one of my top 3, I'm gonna share more, but the last one of my top 3 is the Warman House, which is at the Big Cedar Lodge area. It just has like some upper scale seating. It overlooks the lake as well. and it probably runs along the same price tag as the Osage restaurant, but they are both so worth it. If you want something cheaper, the Sugar Leaf Bakery is the cheaper option. So some other restaurants in Branson that we really enjoy going to repeatedly is Level 2 Steakhouse, which is in the Hilton. I mentioned it earlier in the video. Also, the White River Fish House on the Branson Landing is another Johnny Morris restaurant. And if you go there, make sure you get the cornbread. I'm pretty sure the cornbread kind of comes out like by itself, but oh my gosh, the cornbread is the best. The restaurant is actually on the water as well, right on Taneycoma. Some other ones you have to try is Gettin Basted Barbecue, Keeter Center at the College of Ozarks, Downing Street Poorhouse in Hollister, and Andy's Frozen Custard. If you've never had Andy's Frozen Custard, is it a staple in Missouri and the Springfield area? Would you agree, Faith? Andy's Frozen Custard?
Absolutely.
She's saying that. Now we're going on to shows. There are not many shows I kind of like in Branson. It's kind of geared more towards like the older crowd, but I'm going to give you some, 1 for the older crowd, 3 for the kind of newer crowd, and you know, people of my age, you know, the younger crowd.
Sounds so old.
Anyways, after being told I'm old, my number one that I really enjoy is Sight and Sound. It is literally going to like Broadway in the Ozarks. It's a Christian ran play. So last time I went and saw Jonah and then like the birth of Jesus. And I don't know what they're playing right now, but it is all kind of like Christian based stuff. But if you go, make sure you get the almonds or like the cashews, and like they put like sweetness and stuff, like maple covered cashews. Oh my gosh. Every time I go there, I have to get 2 bags and they come out extremely hot and ready to go. I'm like salivating right now just thinking about it. The other ones that I really enjoy is the Dolly Parton Stampede, which is a dinner and a show. It's a 4 or 5 course dinner while you're watching the show. Last time I went was during the Christmas season, and their Christmas show is pretty cool. Has like reindeer and everything, and they always do tricks on the horses and whatnot. It's a really big blast. The other one is Reza. I think that's how you say it. Reza, Raza. Nah, I'm pretty sure it's Reza. Raisin. No, Reza. I'm pretty sure it's Reza, but it's a magic show, or I don't know what else you would call it, but a magic show. But at the end, he makes a helicopter appear. It's the coolest thing I've ever seen, but I really enjoyed that show. And then the last one, if you have an old soul, just kidding, I would go to the Presley's. Presley's has comedy and singing and stuff like that. Last time I went, they had the world's lowest bass singer. So he's like, oh, whoa, whoa. You know, I don't know how to go really low, but he can sing so low. But that are my 4 favorite shows in Branson. Now I'm going to talk to you about things to do in Branson. These are my favorite things to do. Last time we were in Branson, we did the old time photos. Like we go in, we put like Renaissance stuff on. I held a staff and Miranda wore like the, I don't know, you put it on, they like tie it really like tight. And it's like, and it's like a big dress on the bottom. I don't know what they call it. But we took pictures, and I'm not sure where I can find those pictures, but it would be great if I did and I could show you right now. Also, you have to check out Table Rock Lake or Taneycoma. There's like 3 lakes around there and they all flow within each other, but you have to go to the lake. We really enjoy going down and like camping at the lake. We enjoy boating and jet skiing and stuff like that. Also, another thing to do, what we enjoy, is when we go to the Osage restaurant at Top of the Rock, we enjoy the golf cart tour. We've done it kind of a couple times, 2 or 3 times, and it's still as beautiful the second time as it is the third time. So go and enjoy. I think it's like $30 or $50 like per cart to do it, and it's totally worth it. Of course, I can't make a things to do section without saying go to Silver Dollar City, but I don't go during the peak season. I go during Christmas time when there's over 2 million lights. They have I mean, it's lit up, it's beautiful. That's when we go to Silver Dollar City. We also do the Runaway Mountain Coaster, which is just south of Branson, kind of on your way to the dam. You go all the way to the top. It takes you all the way to the top of the hill, and then you turn, and then you're blasting down like a 70 miles an hour through a coaster, and you're on a single cart, and you're like, It's like an adrenaline rush. I really enjoy that. We also enjoy going to the Dogwood Canyon, which is owned by Johnny Morris, which of course is going to be beautiful. But whenever you start, it is 3 miles one way, you turn around, and 3 miles back. Now there is like a tram that you can get on, and there's like a Toyota Sequoia that pulls a trailer and you can get the tour that way. But Miranda and I, we really enjoy walking that, and it's 6 miles round trip, but it's just absolutely beautiful. And then of course, there's a lot of golf down there and a lot of go-karts and putt-putt. Now, here are some things to avoid in Branson. This is from a local's perspective. The first thing I would do is avoid Highway 76, which is the main strip that goes through and everything's off of 76. So off of 65, you pull on to 76. If you go east, you'll go to the Branson Landing, or if you go west, you go down the strip, and that's where all the cool stuff is. Learn the back roads like Gretna and stuff like that. If you can go the back roads, you'll get down the strip during peak season so fast through the back way. You just have to avoid Highway 76 because you'll just be sitting there for 2 hours trying to get it down. You might run out of gas. You might hate Branson after that because it's one lane. And I don't know if they're thinking about getting 2 lanes eventually, but it's one lane going that way, a middle lane, and the other lane going the other way. So if people are backed up, you're screwed. So avoid Highway 76. Also, what I would say is avoid peak seasons. I know if you are going with like a family trip, you know, during the summertime, I totally understand that. From Memorial Day to Labor Day, Branson is packed. Anytime before that, let's say April and May, you know, April is a great time to come down to Branson because it's right in between spring break and Memorial Day. Great time. And then October and September are a great time for Branson. You get the fall festivals still in October and stuff like that. Now, what sucks about coming not during peak times is Silver City closes from like December 31st to about March is when they reopen. So if you come January and February, there's really not much to do. Now let's talk about restaurant walk-ins during peak times and stuff like that. Avoid not making reservations. If you have a party of 4 or more and you don't make reservations during peak times, you're screwed. If you know you're coming down, choose the places that you want to eat at and make the reservation at least 1 month ahead, because if you just do a walk-in, you're gonna be waiting until 9 o'clock at night to start eating. I'm pretty sure the Osage restaurant at Top of the Rock opens up their reservations a month or 2 ahead, so definitely make a reservation for that. Another thing to avoid when going to Branson is being on a diet. You do not want to be on a diet when you're in Branson because there's so much good food, like Sugar Leaf Bakery. I'm just thinking about that patty melt right now. Faith, you want to go to Sugar Leaf for lunch? And the last thing of things to avoid in Branson, for the love of God, it is timeshare presentations. I know a lot of people, they work that system and they go into a presentation. You can work a presentation where you can go there for 3 hours, tell them no, 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 and still get benefits from it, but just avoid it altogether. It is not worth the time to go to a presentation because their job is to sell a timeshare. And it's like $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 for a timeshare. It's ridiculous. Go to an Airbnb. You do not need to get a timeshare. And if you're a timeshare salesperson, I'm sure I'm gonna get a bunch of crap from it, but I care about the people that are watching this video, and timeshares are not worth it. Anyways, rant over. Also, if you're visiting Branson, Missouri, check out Springfield, Missouri. We're just 45 minutes north of Branson. We have the largest Bass Pro in the entire world here in Springfield. We have fantastic caverns, and you know, you might as well just watch a video about it right up here. Things to do in Springfield, Missouri. You're gonna love it. But that's all we have for you, folks. If you guys want to check out any other videos, we have a ton of videos on this channel about Springfield and Branson and just about Missouri as well. Check that out right over here. And don't forget, watch for deer. If you don't know, that's the Midwestern way of saying love you. Goodbye. Anyways, see ya.